How's everybody doing tonight? What is going on in your neck of the woods? I don't need these pliers. I need them out of the way. I need these pliers. I think we're ready to get started. Let's see here. Good evening, everyone. My name's Sean. I run mailworks.com, where I design and sell chainmail themed apparel and accessories, and I make chainmail. And right now, I'm working on this big inlay that I've been working on for way too long. Should have been done a long, long time ago, but this is what it looks like. And I'm adding each ring one by one. And of course, I just knocked over all my rings. Good job. Alright, that's not too bad. So, how's it going? What's going on? Oh, thank you for the follow. I appreciate you. Let me get the overhead camera going over here. What am I looking at here? I need to bring this down a little more. So that's what I'm going to work on. So, how was your day? Did you get everything done that you needed to? I got my truck back. And if you're not aware, and haven't been following along, I had to replace the timing chain in my truck, and it was very expensive. So now I am a poor boy. Very, very poor now. But what do I get fixed? I needed an oil change. My seatbelt wasn't grabbing. Like, you insert the seatbelt into the clip, and it just would not click the first time. So I had that replaced. I had my transmission flushed, and I had my timing chain replaced. And my mechanic said that my timing chain was very stretched out, which that doesn't really mean anything to me, but, you know, I'm sure it means something to someone. I'm mechanically inclined, but I don't know enough about modern cars to do anything to them. Right? Like, if you have a car with a carburetor, okay. There's no electronics in the car beyond, like, lights and turn signals. Okay, maybe. Maybe I have a chance at fixing something. It's like, I used to have a 1972 International Scout 2. Did a lot of work on that. Those had an engine from a Travelall in it, a 392. 392 V8. And it was put into the Scout, right? Scouts usually came with a 345 V8. So you could climb into the engine bay in that truck, close the hood, and turn on a light, and you're good to go, right? When I got I got back from a deployment in 2005, and I got a Mitsubishi Diamante, and I drove it for forever. I started having some issues with it, and I took a look under the hood to try and see if, maybe I might recognize something. And no, I did not. I promptly closed the hood and took it to the mechanic. And that was the last time I was going to be working on anything myself. So, it's like, I have skills. They're just not applicable to today's market. And a big part of that I was in shop and woodworking and agricultural management when I was in high school, but I changed schools, and the shop class and the agricultural classes were all filled up at the next school. And I should have just quit school right then and there, because I just spent 2 years wasting my time. Like, yeah, you know, I finished high school, but for what, you know? So, needless to say, the cars are so advanced nowadays that I'm incapable of really being useful outside of holding a flashlight and handing somebody tools. But that's fun. It's all fun. I can do that much. It's like I can change a tire by calling AAA, and that's all I need to know, right? Yeah, so I got my truck back. Cost a pretty penny. It is what it is. Hopefully my tax return will cover it. Cross your fingers. There's got to be a... I think I want to do this. I'm going to switch these rings out. Alright. So, yeah. I picked up my truck today. My brother-in-law, he's the one who fixed my truck. He's got his own new shop. He's got a new shop. It's very nice. He does good work. And the truck was shifting poorly. So, you know, flushing the transmission worked pretty well. It ran great after I picked it up. I'm happy that it's all back and working together, because I don't want to go buy a new vehicle pretty much ever, but one day I'll have to, theoretically, right? Vehicles don't last forever. And two of the vehicles that I would go out and buy if I was able to don't exist, right? So International became Navistar, and Navistar sold the rights to the Scout name to Volkswagen. So now Volkswagen has the Scout, and they're making a Scout EV, which is like the worst decision ever. Okay? The Scout is supposed to be like this rugged four-wheel drive vehicle. You take it in the backcountry and go camping. But Volkswagen's decided that it's going to be an EV. If they put a diesel engine in that Scout, I would be interested. Volkswagen diesels, despite the bad press they got a little while back, are pretty decent engines. And the bad press was that they were cheating on their emissions. So I don't care about that at all. Cheat on your emissions. I don't care. The other vehicle that I would get is the new Bronco. If they put a V8 in it. They've got like a 2.3 liter EcoBoost engine, I think is like the biggest one. And that's, you know, it's okay. I've got an EcoBoost. It's a V6 in my F-150 right now. And it's been a good engine, knock on wood. Things have been going good. Aside from this, aside from the timing chain, the only other issue I've really had with that truck was a electrical issue. I had a wiring harness problem many years ago. And other than that, it's been a great truck. You know, you have your regular maintenance, get wheels and oil changes and all that fun stuff. But I would buy a Bronco if they had a V8 in it. You know, in theory, if I could afford a car payment right now. And then the third vehicle that I would buy, which actually does exist, is F-250. Now, do I need an F-250? No, I don't. Do I want one just because? Pretty much. I like my F-150. Why not scale it up? It's like I have the 5.5 foot bed, and I would like I think it comes with a 6 foot bed. If I could get a F250 with a long bed, which is like 7.5 or 8 foot bed. I don't remember. I would get that. And I know what you're thinking, but Sean, you don't need that at all. You're right, I don't. I have no real use for it beyond carting stuff to and from the store. But I do enjoy my truck, so that's a lot of space. I might have to adjust this. This seems to be up, or this comes down at an angle a little more. I think that's the case. Oh well. Anyway. So I got started on the saddlebags for my Road King recently, putting chainmail on top of them and attaching a bunch of leather around the edge to cover where the chainmail connects to the saddlebag. So it's chainmail on the saddlebag with leather edging. That's what I'm doing. And the first method I tried was to line up all the leather and the chainmail and the saddlebag and just drill through it all, which is like, I think it was 6 or 7 layers of material. And that, it worked, but it didn't look great. I need this to look like, I need it to look professional, basically. So I took all that apart. I cut some new strips of leather. Let me show you. Here. These are like 68 inches. I should only need 64, but I cut them a little long just to have some excess. And I started punching holes by hand all through the leather. And it is taking forever. So I didn't even get through half of one strap today. But I've got the measuring tape going down the strip of leather and a straight edge to mark out where, you know, every half inch I got to punch 3 holes in this 68-inch strap. So it's a lot of holes, but it's a lot cleaner looking than anything else I've done. So that's fun. I've got 2 straps to do and, well, a little over 1.5 now. So once I have that done, then I'll get back to the saddlebags and start putting the chainmail on there and making sure everything fits. And we'll move on to the next portion of that project, because I don't have to do any of this, right? I can sit at my house and play video games all day, every day, and do whatever I want. You know, I gotta clean the house, take the kids to school, make dinner, make lunches, make breakfast, right? That's all I gotta do. I don't have to do any of this. So all of this is like self-imposed work or stuff that I want to do because I have the skill to do it, right? The bike project is the only one that I've put a timeline on because I want the bike ready to go by spring so that I can go riding. I want to put a bunch of chainmail on my bike and then go ride. That's my goal. So, one self-imposed deadline and, you know, 1,000 different projects to do. I've started to pile them up. And they're kind of in the way. But they were a mess when they were all spread out, and now they're just a concentrated mess. So, I've got 3 tables next to me full of crap. And I got a big table I want to leave open for large leather projects. The table next to that is a folding table. I want to get rid of that. Get like some shelf storage and a cart to put the welder on and the anodizer when I get it. And then the table right next to me has a bunch of my leather tools for like small leather projects and stuff. But not a lot gets done because it's covered in clutter. So every time I want to use it, I got to clean it up. which is fine. That's the goal, to have all that cleaned up by the end of this year. I want all these projects done by the end of the year, and I want a coiling and cutting setup, a riveting setup. I've got a welder for the welding setup, and I want an anodizing setup for anodizing titanium. And I think that'll be the bee's knees to have all that done. Another interesting thing is, so I was, you guys know what beard lacers are? I saw someone put one on once. It's basically like a little, I was screwing around with this earlier. It's not, I was wondering if I could make one. And the beads that I have are like too big, right? Can I get this apart? But essentially, right, like this part goes around your beard, and then you wrap it around for the next bead, right? So it's a leather cord with some beads on it, right? So these are just what I had laying around. I was messing around with them. There are some available for purchase on Etsy. They're like 20 bucks a piece, and I mean, it looks like it took 2 cents to make. So yeah, I was not about to pay that. So I went looking for a bead store. I have never noticed a bead store here in where I live. And so I Googled it, and I found one nearby. But the individual who owns it is having some health problems, so they're only open a few days a week. And they were not open today, which is fine. It's not like an emergency that I get supplies for this project immediately. But they are open tomorrow, so I might run down there and see what they've got, see if they have something interesting that I think I could make something out of. I think that I just want to do that straight across. Okay. I've got the E. So if you're wondering what this looks like, it looks like this, and I'm working on this E right here. Why? Because that's where I'm at. I'm all over the place. I'm just glad I'm working on this right now. Where was I? Bead store. Lady has health problems. Okay, so one of the things that I have been looking into, not seriously or anything, but inquisitively, is this is kind of an old town, and there's a lot of small businesses that exist here. And we just had one of the Pew Pew stores go out of business. The building they were in sold, and so they were closing up shop, which opens up the opportunity for someone else to open up a Pew Pew store, right? Okay, that's all well and good. In the meantime, there's none of those in town, so, and I don't have an FFL to go and, purchase a business like that, or, start doing that business on my own. Also, not an industry I want to get into. I don't have anything against Pew Pews. Quite the opposite, actually. But in the buying and selling of, yeah, I don't want anything to do with that. So, while it would be an interesting business to get into, too much of a headache. So that's one. I've seen some other businesses in the area. A coffee shop went under and someone bought it recently. Now, these are all old established businesses with names and a customer base. And when they go under, what happens is a corporate company moves in, right? And takes over the space that they were operating in. So, as of right now, there are a couple of independent coffee shops, but there are also a growing number of corporate coffee shops showing up. So I've been just browsing, keeping my ears to the ground about what's going on with small businesses in the area. And I went Googling for this bead store. They weren't open today. I went to go check out their Facebook page, and it looks like it's a one individual operation. And that one individual is having health problems. And I was thinking, I was like, I wonder, when you're getting up in age and you start having health problems, how long do you want to go to work? How much longer do you want to work, And I don't know a lot about stones. I'm familiar with beadwork. Not on any level that I could go and run a store, but it is something that I could go and learn, right? Can't remember which branch you were in and your veteran friend. Next to ask if I was a corpsman. No, I was not a corpsman. I was in the Army. So I was a medic, and then I got my LPN in the military. How you doing, Tigger? I have only ever worked with corpsmen. Oh. So, I don't know. I'm going to go down and scope out this bead store. And I realized that it's not the most glamorous business. But the other options are Michael's and Hobby Lobby in this town. So I think that it is important to keep places like that open. It's not imperative on me to keep it open. And this individual, despite her health problems, may she live forever. She may be just fine and not closing down anytime soon, or she may have a family member or something that she wants to hand the business off to. Doing good. He's a Marine vet. He says thank you for your service as well. Thank you, Marine vet. Appreciate you guys. Back in 2004, 2005, the first 3 months of my deployment and the last 3 months of my deployment were pretty much the quietest. And that's because we had couple of Marine units riding around in between Baghdad and Abu Ghraib and Fallujah, right? Whereas the 6 months in between the first 3 and the last 3 months, we had 10th Mountain. And there was a whole lot of problems during that 6 months, even though it was like wintertime. So normally, the winter is it's cold and there's not a lot of fighting going on. That was not the case on my first deployment there. So I actually really appreciate the Marines because they did not mess around at all. And I'm just a guy working in a hospital at that point. I don't, I'm not working the wall. Well, I did work the wall. I did go on convoys and, escorts and whatnot. But that wasn't like my day job. My day job was in a hospital. And that was a target. So I got to get shot at. That was my job. Leave it to the Marines to calm the enemy down. Yeah, no, they did not mess around. Their rules of engagement were I don't know if they were different than what the Army had, but whatever it was they were doing, it was effective. And, you know, no shade to 10th Mountain. There were plenty of times where they did an excellent job. But overall, between the two units, the Marines versus the Army during that period of time in that location, it was definitely much quieter when the Marines were riding around. My father was also a Marine. I got a whole family in the military. I didn't realize that when I joined the military. Like, I knew my dad had been in. My grandpa was in. My grandma and grandpa on my mom's side were both active duty. My uncle's, he just retired out of active duty. My sister was active duty. And then half a dozen cousins, aunts, uncles. All right, let's see here. 1, 2, 3. See if we can't figure this out. I'm going to try and copy this E here, but the font size is different, right? So this E is a little smaller than this E. I don't know why. It just is. So I'm going to embiggen it down here. I'm going to try anyway. Likewise, thank them all for their service. Aunts, uncles, grandpa, and cousins across all branches. I will do. I never met my grandpa on my mom's side. They were in the Navy. My grandpa and grandma on my mom's side. And my grandma on that side recently passed. I didn't know her like at all. I met her twice in my life. And my grandpa was murdered at a young age by a neighbor in California. I could have been the heir to a huge plot of land that is very valuable today in California. Not that I want to be from California, no shade to Californians, but I don't want to live there today. But I could own a giant piece of land there, except that some neighbor killed my grandpa, and my mom's family moved from there to Iowa. And we're talking like huge piece of property, prime real estate today. Nope, fated to be poor. Which is okay, I guess. I don't mind. How many was that? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6. Okay. Not going to spend too much time on what shoulda, coulda, woulda happened, but that was a possible outcome of my life. The neighbor, they had a dispute. The neighbor had an easement on their property, and he would open up the gate and let all their animals out. And he was giving my grandma a bunch of stuff, attitude, threatened her and everything. My grandpa went over to set him straight. A couple weeks later, they cut his brake lines, and he went careening down a hill and crashed. So that guy later was charged with murdering several people, and he's in jail. So don't murder your neighbors and don't let their animals out. It's really simple. All right. Did I finish my bead story? Oh, yeah. So I was thinking. It's like, I got free time. And this is just daydreaming, right? This isn't something I'm planning on going and doing or anything, but it would be cool. The Steampunk Cat, hi, how you doing? How are you doing today? It would be cool if, right, like, I was able to go and meet this individual who's elderly and frail and having health conditions, and, you know, I'm going to go pick out some beads for this beard lacer thing that I want to try and make. Get this under control, you know? And, you know, oh, she needs help. And she doesn't want to run the business anymore. And, you know, like, oh, we do some kind of 60-40 split of the revenue or of the profits, and that way she can go live her retired life, and I can purchase the business from her somehow, or by working and, you know, paying her the 40% of the revenue or whatever, and just, you know, take over and just preserve that business, right? Now, I have no intention of, like, walking in and be like, hey, you want to sell your business? I'm just going down there to shop, but it would be kind of cool, you know, have a store with foot traffic in it. There is a lot of people who like to do crafty stuff. Wait, are those things off of cans? What I'm working with? No, these are all anodized aluminum rings from the Ring Lord. These are not like can tabs or anything. So here. So we can zoom in for you. All individual rings. So, thousands and thousands of rings. Anyway, I don't want to go and own a bead store, but also, and this is the daydream part of it, right? As a chainmail artist, there are whole lines of, like, chainmail rings, chainmail findings, chainmail tools, right, that I could bring to a bead store. Yeah. And that people could learn about, and I could do classes and help people, and I don't actually want to go do any of that, but, you know, if I did, it'd preserve a business and be a staple in the community. It'd be fun. I don't want to do it, but I think someone should do it. That's, I think, the point I'm ultimately trying to make here. And I know you're like, but if not you, then who? I don't know. Someone who's more knowledgeable about stones and beads than I am. Yeah, that was my excitement for the day. I'm going to go down there and scope it out. I don't know how big of a business it is. She's only open a couple days a week, and so I don't need a job, but something like that would be fun. I imagine it's probably relatively slow, especially during the day, especially with shortened hours. I don't know. I could probably do the same thing there that I'm doing here at home. But I don't know. I'll go down and I will report back. I don't have practices. Wrestling practice is over for the season. So my kiddo got done and finished up. They had a big pizza party, and they essentially like ordered a pizza for every kid. So they had a lot of leftover pizza. All the parents were eating and everything, a lot of desserts and whatnot. And we ended up staying like another 40 minutes after practice to eat and socialize, and it was fun. My kid learned a lot. They do have like a summer program, but he's not. I don't think he's going to be able to do it because he's going to have his braces by then, and he's got the expander in the roof of his mouth, pushing his teeth apart. I think he's about done with any contact sports for the time being. So it's like you have to turn the little expander in the roof of his mouth to push his teeth apart because he's got top jaw is not wide enough, the bottom jaw is not wide enough, but they'll fix the bottom jaw with braces, and the top jaw they want to open up space because he has teeth growing into other teeth, and they don't want the permanent teeth that he has to die. You had a spacer as a kid? Hey, Whimsy Bat, how you doing? My kid's going through right now. I don't. If you look closely at my teeth, they're pretty jacked up. I don't have like any cavities or anything, and I had dental care, but I never had braces. So this is a whole new world for us. And they took like this three-dimensional X-ray of his skull, dude. They pulled an impacted baby tooth and left the space for the adult tooth to grow. Nice. I had some impacted wisdom teeth. And this was like my second to last willing trip to the dentist, right? Where I was paying out of pocket for it. My dad paid for the wisdom tooth removal, but I had 4 impacted teeth, tops and bottoms, and they didn't put me under for it at all. They just numbed me up and went in and took it out, and it took 3.5 hours for them to get all 4 teeth out, and that was awful. And I swore I'd never go to the dentist again. And then like the next time when I went to the dentist, I had to get a root canal. So that was the last time where I was like, okay, I have to go. Fine. Yeah, it was bad. It was traumatizing. But, I got all my teeth right now, so I'm sure it was good for me. You're doing not too bad. How are you doing? I'm doing okay. Be right back. You're lagging hard. I'm sorry to hear that. Let's see here. I've got... looks like my frame rate is dropping. I wonder why. We had this happen the other night. I don't know if my kid was on his VR headset or his Wi-Fi or something, but I reset the computer, I reset his TVs, I reset the router. We've been going just fine for a while, and now last Monday night and tonight we've been having problems. You have to say that I had a root canal. The worst part was needing the root canal. Yeah, my worst part of that was paying for it. It was like $1,800 or something ridiculous after insurance, which covered like $27. So anytime I ever had a medical issue as an adult and I had to use my insurance, yeah, I just got more and more angry as a person. So now I'm fortunate I'm covered by the VA, so if I have any issues, I can... The VA has been pretty good so far, but they want to cut my neck open and cut on me, and I'm not too keen on that, so I just met someone the other day who had a neck surgery, and they had an accessible port put in their chest because the infection got so bad. Now, it wasn't the VA that did their surgery, but Steampunk Cat is back. Right on. Insurance-wise, wasn't as bad as it could have been. Yeah. It kind of looked like the pull tabs. Yeah. I mean, the pull tab armor and chainmail is all kind of similar stuff. But yeah, the individual who had the neck surgery was they were hospitalized and very sick for a while. So I'm just gonna say no for now, and live with chronic neck pain. It'll be fine. I'll be fine. For, I don't know. Until I'm not, I guess. It's like, there's a reason I only stream like an hour and a half. If I stream longer than an hour and a half doing this, I can usually get some stuff done during the day, but I take a lot of breaks during the day. And this is all aluminum. This doesn't bother me too much. When you start working on stainless steel and you're really cranking away, I can't work for too long. But, you know, I still managed to get a significant amount of stuff done. Just because it's one ring at a time until the project is finished. And then you're done. Even if your project has, I don't know, like 40,000 rings in it. You just keep opening and closing one ring after another, and one day, I'm not going to complain about project sizes anymore. The administrator for the large chainmail group over on Facebook, he is doing a 750,000 ring jelly cube. And that makes everything I've ever done just kind of pale in comparison. You can see that? You plan on sticking to aluminum yourself? You're here for the pretty? There you go. I am, like, if it's a static piece, like an inlay or a sculpture or something, I'm all for using anodized aluminum. For everything else, moving forward, my goal is to, it's gold, silver, stainless steel, and titanium for me. Maybe some niobium, dependent on what I'm doing. And maybe some brass if I'm making riveted rings. Brass riveted rings are cool. But brass butted rings, I don't have any intention on using those. Bronze, none of that. It's all precious metals, and then durable materials. So I'm trying to use up everything I have. That way, I'm trying to use up everything I have because none of what I have matches what is currently produced. I would have to pay to get my rings matched in size, and I don't want to do that. So I'd rather just use them up and order all new stuff. So I'm working through all old rings that have been around for like 10 years. You think you found me through that stream? Right on. Yeah, Mike's Jelly Cube is 750,000 rings. That's a huge goal. I think he was at 50,000 or 75,000 last time I saw him. So, but yeah, I've gone through, I've made what I can with what I have. I still have a bunch of stuff left to finish up. But that's what this whole, like, I want to have it all done by the end of this year. I think I can get it done much faster than that, to be honest. We'll see. We will see. Oh, Steampunk Cat, speaking of pull tabs, my neighbor girl has a pull tab project going on, and I keep finding pull tabs all over the house. Like, I don't know why there's like a pull tab in the bathroom upstairs. I didn't put it there. There's like a pile of them on my counter. And I guess they're all going to be collected up and handed to the neighbor girl. I don't know what she's making, but all right. Almost. Okay. I've got this which is I'm almost out of, right? Not a lot in there. And this of the old green rings. Now, this will cover a lot. It'll cover a significant amount, but I'm only like halfway done. So this does not equal all the green rings that I have here. And do I have here? I don't know how well this will pop up on screen, right? But these are two entirely different shades of green. Now, the green is already like a bunch of different shades, but they're all kind of in the same thread of green, whereas this is like almost olive avocado green, right? And yeah, you cannot tell on screen. So hopefully, if you can't tell on the screen what the camera's picking up, perhaps you won't be able to tell if I just mixed all of this in together, right? Because I've already replaced all of the yellow in this inlay. I've outlined everything in black. And I'm not going to tear out all the green in this. It's all just going to be this mismatched green. It just is what it is, right? This inlay has been sitting around for far too long. You think you'd have to remove any beauty filters to see? You think I have beauty filters on? Do I look that good? Is that what you're telling me? You got like bold glamour turned on? I do not. I don't have any filters, but that's funny. It's just my handsome face. I barely know how to use filters. I don't know how to use any of this technology. I'm so old. Which is fine. TikTok adds them automatically. Sometimes they just make things brighter. Ah, okay. I wonder if that's the case, because what I see on screen on my phone camera over here has always been like kind of washed out, and I'm wondering if that's like a filtering effect. I will have to dig into that. All right. So yeah. Getting close to, I have these little containers that hold all these rings, and they've just been kind of random up until I started working on this project, but I've slowly been emptying out all of these containers, and they come in like these briefcase things, and these pop in, and there's 18 containers to a briefcase, I guess. And I'm almost done. I think these primarily are some of the last ones that I have left to empty out. So, hooray for using stuff up. Want to knock all this stuff out. And the lesson that I learned is that I really need to pre-plan a lot of my projects prior to ordering rings for them, especially with inlays, right? Any inlay I do going forward, this is European 6-in-1. Any inlay I do going forward is going to be European 4-in-1. I'm using 18 gauge 1/4 inch anodized aluminum rings, and I want to use 18 gauge 5/32 for anything going forward, because that's like a 1 ring per pixel kind of setup. Might just be the camera. Your previous phone watched you out constantly, darkened and brightened. Too bad you can't box jump rings like paint. Too bad you can't box. I'm assuming like you mean storage. I don't know how paint is stored, so I'm out of my element, Danny. But, okay, so, yes. Moving forward, inlays, 18 gauge, 5/32 anodized aluminum. All inlays moving forward will be mapped out with how many rings I need in each color and what the final design is. I'm not going to try to freehand any more inlays, right? Which is what I'm doing right now. I'm working off of this picture, which is a terrible idea. This was like a business card that the bar had, and I scanned it into my computer, blew it up in MS Paint, and then printed this off on a HP printer that I used to have. Boxing paint is like when you get multiple gallons of a color, you mix them all before using it. Oh, okay. To make sure the color is consistent. I gotcha. Yeah, that is too bad you can't do that with rings. I mean, if I had all these green rings still like unwoven, I could dump them all together, mix them up, and then I've got areas where, like right up here, I don't know if you can pick it up, light straight line of dark rings, right? Straight line of dark rings. They just, you don't know how you're doing it. It wouldn't even know where to start. Yeah, I didn't know where to start either. I just, I did the thing. I started out and I spelled out Finnegans. That was that. And then I've slowly added the knot work around it. And I don't know why, but it took me forever to realize that this little circular thing was the same as this one over here, just turned 90 degrees, which is the same as this one down here, which was turned 90 degrees, and same as the one over here, right? Like, looking at it, I knew that intuitively, right? But when I started mapping it out on here by hand, I did not put together that I could just try and make them match as best as possible, and that it would be easier that way. So, yeah, I've spent a lot of time correcting that mistake and trying to make all the yellow look like each other. I mean, it does look like each other. It's all yellow, but I mean, like, all the patterns look like each other. So, it's fine. It'll be fine. Complicate. Yes, it is complicate. At least it's not like knitting where you have to pull everything apart. Yeah. That is true. There's some TikTok the other day. It's like people who knit are called knitters, and people who crochet are called crochetters. The internet is too much sometimes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 8. Yeah, that one got a good laugh out of me. Things like that are, anything at like the base level humor of a fart and below is like, that's where my humor is at and has been for forever. It doesn't take much to entertain me. But yeah. So, let's see here. All right, so how I'm doing this E, since it is a larger font size down here than this one right here, I'm adding and I'm making everything a row wider. And I don't know how big that's going to make this. I don't know how necessary it is, but or if it's going to make it too big. I guess we'll find out together as we go along. Like, I'm going to be working on this project hopefully for a bit because I have other stuff that's more urgent per se. But until I'm done with the saddlebags, like, that's what I'm working on during the day. So, and that's over on that table over there. So I'm not going to clean this up. I'm just going to leave it every night. And when it's time to stream, I'll come back to it. I probably have to clean up tomorrow because I have some business stuff I got to do. But I want this to be done. Now, I'm not even halfway. I might be like halfway at this point, and it's huge, right? So I've got a long way to go. But my body is ready for this to be hanging on the wall and me not working on it anymore, thinking about where each ring goes. You believe it? Yeah. Well, I was doing the math the other day. This inlay, I've been working on it for 17 years. Now, okay, that's not true. I started the inlay roughly 17 years ago, right? And I got a big portion of it done. And it wasn't until last year and the work I've done on it this year that, like, this top portion got finished. And then I started working over here on this section, right? So, but for a long time, it was just like the word Finnegans, and I was just working on it, right? You pulled a chest muscle, coughing, you're a little afraid to work on mail right now. I don't blame you a single bit. That is the worst. That's one of those things that I dread. Do I want to? Yeah, I do. Okay. So I haven't pulled the chest muscle in a while, but a couple years ago, I was probably working on one of my shirts, right? And I get up, and I go to stretch, and my sternum goes, thunk! And it was the most painful thing, not the most painful thing I've ever felt, but it was just shocking, right? I don't know why the frame rate is dropping on all of the others. To your master bath on Sunday, you had a very bad Monday. Ugh. Mondays are just awful anyway. Yeah, popping your sternum the first time was awful, right? After that, it's like popping anything else. It just makes noise whenever you move because you're 100 years old, like I am. All right, I think I'm missing Whimsy Bat. I think I'm missing some context here. I got the bathroom looks much better though, and something else. Like I'm missing something. You're 38, so you know about the knee pain, the lower back pain, the heating pad, and turning your neck too fast or sleeping wrong, and oh, you cussed. Okay. Yeah, it's a family-friendly channel where only I'm allowed to swear. Actually, I think that's just a thing TikTok has. I could probably change it, but I don't know. Maybe. Probably some setting I set up when I was like getting ready to go live on TikTok. I was like, oh, I don't want people swearing in my chat. Like some goody two shoes asshole. That's probably not TikTok. It was probably me. Your not smart self painted the pocket door to your master bath on Sunday. Yeah, okay. And you're feeling it. I need to paint. Actually, no. That is not what I meant to say. The master bath in this house is like olive green. That's not the worst thing I've ever seen, but by no means is it something I want to keep. So someone needs to paint it. It's not going to be me. I do not paint. We painted our first house. Moved from an apartment to the house and spent like a week painting all the rooms and everything. And we painted a little bit before we moved up here. And this house has had some paint done. I didn't do any of it. It was after the first house painting experience I had. I'll never paint again if I can avoid it. Especially like I've had to do some touch-ups down here in the basement. Oh, actually no. I'll tell you the story of our upstairs bathroom. The kids' bathroom leaked water through the tile floor down into the kitchen. Tile floor had to be replaced, and there was a water spot in the ceiling. And there was like 500 different kinds of white paint for different parts of the house. I don't know. And a bunch of paint that no room was painted that color. Like there was a lavender. There wasn't a lavender room in the house, but we had a can of lavender paint, right? So we go and start going through trying to find which paint matches the paint on the ceiling. And of course, none of it does. We look at the samples and we go through all the samples that are close. And none of that matched either. None of it was close. So that was a headache. And same thing down here in the basement. Got the sample, matched the texture, and nothing matched. You know, the brand was the same, the texture was supposed to be the same, and nothing. Can't get it to match. So I covered them all up, all the spots up with pictures and said, to hell with it. I'm not going to worry about it. If I need to fix this at all, I'm going to cover it in some kind of like fancy wood paneling or I don't know what. But I'm not painting. Uh-oh, what's going on here? Live will end in 1 minute. No, don't end my live. Weird. I've never had that happen before that I'm aware of. I don't know. A lot of people hate painting. A lot of contractors, actually. White is very difficult to match. It is. I think it's called, like, ultra flat or something. That would be your ceiling paint. Yeah, I'm going to end up repainting the whole ceiling on the main floor. One day. Well, I say but that's not going to happen. I'm going to get someone else to do it. Because I am not going to paint anything. If I have to do it, it's going to get some kind of decorative cover, right? Like those metal tiles, those decorative metal tiles that people put on their ceilings. My stepdad, very handy individual, did a bunch of those metal tiles in his and my mom's kitchen before my mom passed away. And it looked very nice. And it was not paint. So I think that's what I'm going to do. I don't have the right cabinets for it, though. So it's fine. I'll just put fancy decorative tiles, like tin tiles or brass tiles, whatever they are, up on the ceiling, and then walk away, and the rest of the decoration of the kitchen will be someone else's problem, not mine. I think that's a good idea. All right, what do we got there? Two. Oh, I should probably take that back a little bit. Here. Screw it. Peel and stick or something? Yeah, I don't know what my stepdad used, but a peel and stick would be right up my alley for not caring enough to paint over it. So it's just called flat paint, the ceiling paint. Yeah, I think the 12 dozen trips to 3 different like Home Depot, Lowe's, and Menards. I think that all just kind of ruined me for doing any kind of painting ever again. So I'll figure something out, but and I don't have any intention of moving ever, so I don't have any intention of moving, so there is also the option to just never touch it and leave it as it is. And people can just judge me whenever they come over, and I can not care. There is that option. You know. Oh, my leg's numb. So numb. Wow. But I think that like once I get all the projects done down here, you know, I've got plenty of stuff on my honey-do list to do, and I'll start those back up in the spring. I'll probably get most of those done. I've got like some leaks in our sprinkler system. We don't use the sprinkler system. I'm not a lawn person. I'll go and mow the lawn. And I've got a riding lawnmower, so it's not terribly difficult. But, excuse me. The sprinkler system, when we had the fence put in, because we have dogs, the fence installers put the fence posts on the property line, and the sprinkler system was also on the property line, and so the sprinkler system got broken in 2 spots. And we've just never turned it on. So it's not a big deal to me. I don't care. It's like the more you water your lawn, the more you got to mow it. I've got some neighbors who love to mow their lawn. They're out there like twice a week mowing that stuff. But I am not one of those people. You'll not mow the lawn, but you'll clean the litter box? Yeah. That's fair trade. Yeah, I mow the lawn, but I also get fed well, so can't complain. But yeah, so I got to fix the sprinkler system. I got to install a battery on the sump pump. I want to get the garage cleaned up painted, and all like where the studs are marked. I'm gonna put in. I want to put in 210 or 220 outlet out in the garage, and add some more electrical outlets. And then I need to build a what do you call it? It's shelving all around the gas fireplace, and the fireplace mantle upstairs. So, at the end of fall this last year, I got out in the shed in the backyard and cleaned that all up. And so now I have access to my miter saw and my table saw, and I can do like somewhat fancy woodworking projects. I'm actually terrible at woodworking. I need to get better. So it's just one of those things. Well, I say I'm terrible. I'm okay. I've built stuff. I built a 300 square foot deck on the back of my house down in Texas. And it had a pergola and everything. It was very nice. Things I learned is that I don't ever want to have a wood deck. I want to use the fake plastic wood for anything. And I don't even want a deck up here because our backyard in Texas faces the sun, all day, every day. And our backyard here faces the sun all day, every day. So I want like a Four Seasons room back there. And I didn't think I wanted one, but then my brother-in-law put one in, and the neighbor across the street put one in. And it's not like I've got the money to go or the know-how to go and put one on, right? I would probably have to contract that out. But if I don't do that, then I at least want a covered deck on the back of my house, not made of wood, made with a plastic wood fake stuff, because the deck and pergola that we built down in Texas, you had to clean all the stain off like once a year, and then so you had to clean it all off and then restain it, and no, I'm never doing that again. That was awful. Just do prefab? Yeah. That's an option too. So the deck that I have on the back of the house right now is, what is it? It's like, it goes 10 feet out from the house, maybe 12, and then 20 feet across. And it's all rickety. At any point in time, it could completely collapse underneath me. Oh, do prefab for the sunroom? Yeah. But I want like, the conditions are, it's got to be, like you have to have like the wind blowing through it, the sun coming in. It's got to be covered from the rain, and like a ceiling fan and light, right? So whether it's a sunroom or whether it's a covered deck, I don't care. I just want, to be able to stand out on the back deck and stare off into the distance looking for tornadoes when the tornado siren goes off and not get hit by rain. That's my goal. So yeah, so I did build a deck down in Texas. I need to build one up here, and I've got to build some shelves around the fireplace this spring, summer, fall, sometime within the next year. So that's the big one on my honey-do list that I'm going to have to be extra careful with, because, it's going to be a finished piece inside of my house. Just need time to practice. Yeah, need a lot of time. Need a lot of time and a lot of practice. But I'll get there. It'll get done eventually, one day or not. Doesn't matter if it does or doesn't happen. It's just hopes and dreams. How you doing tonight, John? So yeah. think it's I don't know, Whimsy Bat. I don't know how long you've been here for a while. Did you hear me talking about the bead store that I am going to go visit tomorrow? I had never. I don't know. I guess maybe you don't notice if a small business is in your area unless you go looking for it, right? I don't know. But I live in a small town, 100,000 people. There's lots of stuff here, but a lot of it is like kind of tucked away in these questionable looking buildings. And so... No, you didn't? Okay, so... going to make a beard lacer, because I went looking for one to get control of all of this, right? And I was playing around with some beads that I had and some leather cord, and it was not, like, these were not satisfactory for what I was doing. These are just like some slider beads. And so I went looking online for one, and they wanted like $20 for a string and some tiny little beads. I was like, okay, no. There are no bead stores near you aside from Big Box. I've got the Big Box one, and apparently I have one bead store. And so I was like, okay, well, they weren't open because the lady was recently in the hospital. And I know this because she posted it to the business's Facebook page. I was just like, okay, what does this business look like? What is it about? Blah, 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 right? So I was curious. One of the things that I watch is what businesses come and go. You know, what ones are closing, what ones are opening, and a lot of it is like, you know, a local car wash or a local laundromat will go under for whatever reason, or the owner will die, or you know, the business closes without someone from the family inheriting it, right? That happened to a coffee shop, that happened to a gun store, and I mentioned one other business that it happened to, all since I've been here, right? And so what happens when these businesses go under is that big corporate establishments come in and take over, and there's no small business anymore. I feel like farms go that way sometimes. Yeah, 100%. So I don't have any intention of doing this, but I was thinking, right, like if this lady is older, which she seems to be, having health problems, which she's posting about, I'm curious to know, like, what is her plan for her business as she moves forward? Does she have someone in the family she's going to hand it off to? Is it then developers buy the farms and all the orchards are houses? Yeah, the house I am in right now is was an old farm. Living the dream in paradise, hitting your choices on 24-gauge jelly cube, but persistence will win out, you hope. Good luck with that, John. Yeah, 24-gauge jelly cube. What possessed you, you madman? So anyway, trying to figure out how to make a beard lacer. It doesn't look that complicated. Gonna go down, try and find some beads that are suitable for it, and then see what this lady's all about and what's going to happen with her business. And you know, I don't want to go in and be like, hey, I saw that you posted that you were sick. Do you want to sell your business to me? You know, because that'd be like weird. But also, I don't know anything about the bead business, really. But I, you know, can run a register and am familiar with retail. So I just understand that small businesses, you know, when they go under, they don't come back. They're replaced by corporate stores, and yeah, I gotta have tact. No, 100%. I'm not gonna just waltz in and be like, "Hey, you want to sell me your stuff? All of it?" But it would be cool because, and I was just daydreaming about this. I have no intention of actually like seeing this out or anything, right? But as a chainmail artist, there are tons of lines of products, or tons of product lines that you can add to a bead store that are like perfect for people who love to sit and make stuff, right? Anodized aluminum is not hard to work with. So, like, it'd be cool just to have like a foot traffic store to operate out of. So, and I do, I actively monitor the comings and goings of business. Like, there's a website I signed up for this, to be like get an email whenever one of the local businesses in like the county goes up, you know, for sale or is going under. Just because, like, it's a great way to, if you can walk into an established business that already has a customer base and someone wants to retire, right? That takes out a lot of the legwork in just building out your business to start with. Have I heard of LoopNet? I have not. What is LoopNet? So my son is upstairs screaming. My frames are dropping. For some reason, he is not in bed. I told him to go take a shower 2 hours ago. So, I don't know what's going on. But what is LoopNet? Anyway, just something I was daydreaming about. I'm not in any kind of position to, you know, but I just spent $3,500 on my truck. I got no money. I'm not buying anyone's business. LoopNet is a commercial real estate website? Oh, no, I have not heard of that. You mean like where I could go rent out my own space? Oh, my child is going to suffer for not being in bed already. I know a few people. I know a few people who run stores that are chainmail stores, right? Two that I'm aware of. One of them is a dedicated chainmail store. The other is like t-shirts, beer cozies, like anything they can print on, and a bunch of chainmail stuff. So, no, I wouldn't. Excuse me. I would love to have like my apparel from my website in a store like that. That would be cool, especially around here. And we've got a nearby Renaissance Festival, and so plenty of people in the area are familiar with what chainmail is. But I wouldn't want to just do like the stuff that I make and put it up on a shelf for sale. I have aspirations of like having a artisan alley kind of thing, where like you have a couple of glass blowing blowholes, furnaces going, some forges, right, for blacksmithing, some pottery wheels and kilns for pottery, and like just art that requires you to have a lot of equipment that you can't typically have in your house. The issue with that is it's a huge liability issue. So it'd be cool to have, like, 10 forges and anvils lined up and someone teaching classes, and I can have a shelf with some chainmail in it and work a register and sell chainmail supplies and blacksmithing supplies and whatnot. But that's, I don't know, that's even crazier than going in and buying a bead store out from someone. But, looking to local maker spaces. There's none around here that I know of. The closest thing that's similar that there's a clay area where they teach pottery. But there is one, the Milwaukee Blacksmith is nearby, up in Milwaukee. So, alright. I don't like this song. So, I'm nowhere near doing any of this today, or tomorrow, or next year, but be something fun to do. I think it'd be taking myself in the right direction. So, alright, where are we at here? It's about 10 o'clock. So, got a little bit of work done, got started on this E. I don't think it's wide enough. I'm going to look at it, bring it out a little more. We'll see. And then, but it started. That's the important thing. This is, probably need to clean that up a little bit. That's fine. I can look at it later. Alright. So, yeah. I'm going to try and get out there tomorrow. We'll see if I can get, like, in the zone and get these straps, get the holes punched in these straps, right? Then I don't want to stop and go to a bead store. A beard lacer is not that serious of a thing. It'd just be cool to have one, right? The last thing I need is more jewelry, but also I need more jewelry. So that I don't want to do any more piercings. So like necklaces and bracelets, and I don't want to wear just beads in my beard. I want it all like so, All right. Nothing's better than more. That's right. I like that mentality. Okay. For anyone watching on TikTok, X, Facebook, YouTube, Twitch, thanks for hanging out. I do appreciate you being here. If you want to learn more about chainmail, please go to the link tree in my bio, and you can download the Mailworks app, which is a free app that has all the resources I would have wanted when I first got started making chainmail 27 years ago. And it's More is a Madonna song. Nice. It's got where to find ring manufacturers to order supplies. It's got tool recommendations, where to find other chainmail artists, where they hang out online, different groups, forums, etc., and a whole bunch of other fun stuff for new and veteran chainmail artists. If you want to have some chainmail made, also download the Mailworks app, because there's an artists section in there. These people are, they got their own stores. They're set up to take custom work. They have a bunch of stuff for sale already. So if you want to have like cool chainmail bracelets like me, go and talk to the artists on the Mailworks website. or on the Mailworks app. And if you want to continue seeing chainmail in your life from me specifically, if you want to keep seeing me, please go to mailworks.com, where you will find the apparel and accessories that I design and sell. They're all chainmail themed, and they're all super awesome. So go get yourself some chainmail themed apparel and accessories from mailworks.com. And I will probably be on tomorrow night. We don't have practice anymore, so probably, I think. And we will Lego Man, spiders, micro trolls with male climbing ropes attached to a necklace so they can only dangle versus loosing them when they fall out the beard. Nice. That'd be funny. All right. You all have a wonderful evening. I appreciate you being here. I'll be back on later. Tomorrow night. Usually 8:30 to 10 Central Standard Time. All right. You guys have a good one. I'll talk to you later. Bye. Push the button. There we go. All right. For everyone over here, have a good night. I will talk